Luncheon. My name is Joanne Pagutela, and I hope that you all have an enjoyable and informative time with us today. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, government dignitaries, PMC and PMEA members, and of course our marketing partners. Welcome to the 74th Luncheon. My name is Joanne Falcotella, and I hope that you all have an enjoyable and informative time with us today. Just before we get going, I would like to mention and thank our valued marketing partners, for without this company's assistance, this luncheon would not be possible. Our supporting partners, Major Drilling. We have here Daniel Paradis from Major Drilling. And Hexagon. Index, we have here Gavin Bright. Pale Riders, we have here Bruce Pallister. Drill Corp, we have Ray Estacio from Drill Corp. Cruz Marcelo and Tinefrancia, we have attorney Patricia Boni. Fortuna Narvaza and Salazar, attorney Roderick Salazar. Resource Comms, Carillion Partners. Our event partner, Kacific Broadband Satellite Incorporation. Founded in 2013, Kacific Broadband Satellite Group is a next-generation satellite operator providing access to affordable, reliable, high-speed broadband services across Asia and the Pacific. Kacific uses advanced K-band space and ground communications technologies to provide innovative services to communities, governments, and enterprises across all industries, including mining. Its services foster greater internet usage, fuel economic growth, and improve the delivery of critical services. They have been named Satellite Company of the Year 2023 at the Business Excellence Award in Singapore, and Achievement in Product Innovation for one of their products called Comspax, which addresses the challenges faced by disaster-prone areas. Kacific has also been named Best Broadband Satellite Operator in the Philippines at the International Finance 11th Annual Awards 2023. Kacific has also received Best Satellite Company in the Philippines 2023 at the International Business Magazine Award 2023, acknowledging their global impact through connectivity solutions. Kacific partners with 160 distributors and 18 local internet services providers to provide nationwide broadband services and support encouraging the growth of the Philippines economy. Our foundation partner, Weir Minerals. Weir Minerals deliver end-to-end solution for all mining, transportation, milling, processing, and waste management activities. And we have here Alex Ivaristo from Weir Minerals. QED, Quest Exploration Drilling. With more than 50 years of industry experience, Quest Exploration Drilling has established itself as an industry leader in providing drilling services to the resource and energy industries. QED range of services include diamond drilling, reverse circulation RC, drilling, geotechnical drilling, geothermal drilling, and provision of water management solutions. QED maintains high standard of safety in all of their operations, ensuring the health and well-being of their employees is critical to their success. The company is committed to ensuring that they deliver upon customer expectation and provide type of service that can be relied upon on every occasion. QED is keen to understand your drilling requirement, and we have here Wayne Smith from QED. Our principal partners, Asta Geophysical Philippine Corporation. Asta Geophysical Philippines Corporation is part of Asta Geophysical Consultant Group, which is known for providing expert advice and services for geophysical exploration and geotechnical investigations applicable to mining industry, energy sectors, geothermal, groundwater, and environmental, and construction. Austa has long-term experience for over 2 decades in exploration of some of the most remote and challenging environments across more than 30 countries in the world, including the Philippines. And we have here Angelica Olaes from Austa. GHD. This year, GHD celebrates 25 years of creating lasting community benefit in the Philippines. During this time, it has demonstrated its commitment to the mining industry through its 1,000 employees across its Makati City, Quezon City, and Cebu City offices. It offers integrated planning, design, environmental, and construction management services across the entire life cycle of mining project, together with our local planning, engineering, and environmental teams. Clients have access to GHT's global best practice and technical services for any type of mine project. And we have here Manny Ancheta and Ronald Asho from GHT. Our industry partners, Oceana Gold, Santa Clara International Corporation. We thank you for your continued support, and we would also like to thank Genie Trading for their support of this event. We are also affiliated with the PMEA, the Philippine Mining and Exploration Association, and we have here Mr. Joey Ison. We have the Chambers of Mines of the Philippines. We have Ms. Jocelyn Mendoza. The PMCA, the Philippine Mine Safety and Environment Association. The globally recognized the Melbourne Mining Club. ANSTRAM, the Australian and New Zealand Chamber of Commerce. We also have here Diwata, Women in Resource Development. Yaman Philippines, and Singapore Mining Club. Media partners, we have here Marcel Villegas for Media Partners, Philippine Resource and Construction Journal, the Manila Times, and the Philippine Star. Ladies and gentlemen, may I say a few words about our MC today. Attorney Patricia Bunye is a senior partner and deputy managing partner for administration of Cruz Marcelo and Tenefrancia. She had its Mining and Natural Resources Department and the Energy Practice Group. She is also a partner in the Intellectual Property Department. She is a past president of the Licensing Executive Society International, LESI, 2016-2017. The first Filipino and Southeast Asian to hold the position. She is also founding president of Diwata Women in Resource Development Incorporation, a non-government organization that advocates responsible development of the Philippines' wealth in resources. She is an active member of the Chambers of Mines of the Philippines, Legal Committee, and is a columnist in the Philippine Resource and Construction Journal. She is in the 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020, and 2019 and 2018 lists of the Philippines' top 100 lawyers and has been cited by various international law research publications such as Chambers, Legal 500, Asia Law, among many others. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now hand you over to our MC, Attorney Patricia Bunye.
Good afternoon, friends. Thank you, Joanne, for the kind introduction. I'm very happy to be back as your MC today, especially with the topic that has tickled our imaginations, the Tampakan Project. Now, before we begin and before we enjoy our lunch, I have a few announcements. As always, if you need certificates of attendance, You can request them from Joanne Falcotella at joanne@philippineminingclub.com. And today, we have two speakers. The Q&A for both of them will be held after both have presented. At this juncture, I'd like to acknowledge some VIPs and special friends of the Philippine Mining Club who are in the audience today. First of all, former Prime Minister Cesar Virata. Good afternoon, sir. Ambassador Delia Albert, patron of the Philippine Mining Club, former Secretary of Foreign Affairs, and Chairman of Diwata, Women in Resource Development. Mr. Joey Aison, President, Philippine Mining and Exploration Association, or PIMEA, and I'd like to congratulate Joey in advance because PIMEA will be celebrating its 25th anniversary. Jet Tupas, President and CEO, Jen Louis Ching Mining Corporation. Are you here? Next, Mr. Joel Muico, President, Colette Mining and Development Corporation. Mr. Jose T. Marcelo Jr., CEO of Joson Gold Mining Corporation. Ms. Tata Corpus of Austrade. Are you here, Tata? Ms. Lynn Tal Placido, Vice President for Sales and Marketing, Limitless Tech Solutions. And my friend, Roy Antonio, External Affairs and Communications Manager, Sagittarius Mines. Before we break for lunch, we will present a short video from Yaman Philippines. This is a youth organization which supports the Philippine minerals industry by promoting responsible mining through different events for students and the general public. They recently started a social media campaign called Biyaheng Yaman, an educational tour and campaign promoting responsible mining by featuring different mining companies and quarry sites in the Philippines through their social media platforms. And through this, Yaman PH aims to enlighten the public on the coexistence of mining and the protection of the environment, and to highlight the importance of the minerals industry, hoping to rectify misconceptions about the industry and also to shape young minds to become stewards of the environment and mine safety. So please enjoy the video, and we will have lunch very shortly.
running company with the mission of creating a culture of best practices in all aspects of its operations.
When Hayang Gabon?
Visit Auto Hub Hayang Gabon. Balik na! Welcome to Friend Store! Balik na mo! Thank you for visiting Yang Philippines! Mabuhay! Mabuhay! That's it for this season of Dahigangan! See you soon!
I hope you are making new contacts and enjoying this networking opportunity. But we have to begin now with the first speaker, Mr. Jose Daniel Gino Belgira is the National Partnership Manager of Kacific Broadband Satellites Group. He oversees the distribution channel, operations, cultivates local partnerships and resellers to connect unserved and underserved communities across the Philippines. He's here to talk about accelerating last mile digitalization with innovative satellite technology. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Jose Daniel Gino Belgira.
Okay, good afternoon, and I hope everyone is enjoying your lunch. I would like to thank everyone for taking some time on your busy schedules this Friday afternoon to be here, and we hope you're having a good time so far. For the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'm here to talk a little bit about satellite broadband or satellite internet. And I'm here representing Kacific Broadband Satellites Group, along with our partner, Limitless Technology Solutions, Inc., or LTSI. And we offer internet services, particularly to remote and unserved regions across the Philippines and across other markets in Southeast Asia and the Pacific. Just to talk a little bit about a brief background as to who we are. We are a satellite operator, which means that we own and operate a satellite in space, which provides broadband or internet to rural and urban areas across 25 countries. The satellite itself, the Kacific one, was launched in December of 2019, and we've effectively been operating in the Philippines and other markets for the past 3 years now. Satellite, for those who are not familiar, is a very simple type of service, right? You basically have a satellite in space which sends and receives signal from Earth infrastructure. So you have what you call a teleport or Earth station, which sends signal up to the satellite, and the satellite beams it back down to a remote site, say a mining site located in Dinagat or Surigao, where you have a small office of 2 to 4 people, 7 people, or even 10 people or more, who can then connect to the internet, sending the signal back to the satellite, going down to our Earth station and connecting them to the internet. All of this infrastructure is provided by Kacific Broadband Satellites Group in partnership with our internet service providers. And we were founded in 2013 by a group of satellite experts, including our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Christian Patero. At the time, what we've done is we've taken a look at all of these different markets in Southeast Asia, especially the Philippines. And what we observed is that there's a large demand for internet connectivity. You're talking about remote islands, remote mountainous areas that are very hard to reach for traditional fiber or even mobile providers in the country. And a lot of these areas are also not connected to electricity or a very stable power source. The beauty of satellite is that these are simple to install. They can be powered with solar panels, and they can immediately provide high-speed, affordable, and reliable internet connectivity anywhere in the country, so as long as you have a clear line of sight to the sky. Our satellite, Kacific 1, is a geostationary satellite. So what that means is it's constantly rotating around Earth at the same pace, right, of Earth's rotation. So 24/7, our satellite, relative to the ground, will not be moving. So your antenna or your dish that you install on the site will just be pointed one time to our satellite in space, and you'll be able to access speeds of up to 100 Mbps or 100 megabytes per second. What you see on the screen is a wide map of the different countries that we serve today under the Kacific 1 satellite. These cover 25 countries, over 56 spot beams, and as you can see, the entire Philippines, all 7,600 islands are covered by the Kacific 1 satellite. The Kacific 1 is what we call an HTS satellite. So it's a fancy term for basically saying that this satellite is very powerful and it's able to reuse its frequency very efficiently to ultimately bring down the cost of bandwidth, at the same time increase the speeds that we can deliver to end users anywhere with coverage. We use what we call Ka-band technology. So this is high frequency technology. And we also have multiple gateways, as I mentioned, Earth stations, to allow us to maintain a reliable and stable link to the satellite at all times. In fact, in the Philippines, our service availability is upwards of 99.7%. So to put that in perspective, in a full year, you can expect less of 1 day outage with the satellite. And the reason for that is because in the Philippines specifically, as a typhoon-prone country, we have set up 2 teleports, a primary teleport located in Subic and a diversity site located in Clark, Pampanga. So at any point in time, if one of our teleports are affected by inclement weather, we can automatically and seamlessly shift the traffic to our diversity site and provide a stable connectivity so that users in remote places can access the internet, which is very important, especially when you talk about remote mining sites that need internet for daily mission-critical operations. Just to give you an idea as to how we operate in the markets, we work with licensed telcos and internet service providers in the Philippines and also across Southeast Asia. Here we have partnered with Limitless Tech Solutions. We've also partnered with other partners across the region. And we have one satellite, or one bird in space, the Kacific 1. In the next 4 years, we're excited to launch our second and third satellites. The Kacific 2 and the Kacific 3 aims to not only augment the capacity that we have in our existing markets, but also expand our coverage to cater to unserved demand in Middle Asia, including India, as well as the Middle East. And these satellites will have new features and new technologies that allow us to further bring down cost of bandwidth, at the same time provide a much better experience on the internet for our users in remote areas. So the satellite itself was manufactured by Boeing. It was launched in partnership with SpaceX. We work with Kratos for all of the ground infrastructure, the teleports that we have in Indonesia, in Australia, and Philippines. The satellite itself is what you call a condo-sat. So it's shared with Sky Perfect JSAT. And we've also partnered with ST Engineering for our equipment. Using the new tech product line, these are robust industrial-grade equipment that you can deploy in any of these remote areas. And these can withstand inclement weather, especially here in the Philippines. It can withstand that type of weather condition and still maintain a good link. I'd like to invite you, I would take this opportunity to invite you as well to visit our live demo. We have a live terminal installed here at SEDA, where you can actually see the VSAT itself, or the very small aperture terminal, the equipment that we use that you can deploy as well to your remote sites. Apologies for the technical difficulties. But if you are interested to see our VSAT, we do have a booth outside with our partner, and we'll be happy to assist you to the roof deck where you have our VSAT set up there. So our satellite is also insured by Marsh & McLennan. We also work with Garanco and ADB, who have helped to co-finance the launch of the first satellite, which is a very expensive investment, but something that allows us to be able to help bridge the digital divide in a lot of these regions. So when we talk about satellite broadband, there's a lot of different applications for this. Basically, it's internet, right? So when you talk about internet access, this is perfect for schools, especially you're talking about state universities and remote learning centers that need access to the internet. They can use VSAT for that. We've also connected a number of community sites. We work closely with the government. We can provide internet for healthcare services to do telemedicine, as well as provide a backhaul service for telcos on 3G, 4G, and even 5G services. What's critical to note with satellite is that this is a very resilient type of technology, and that allows us to actually serve a lot of these disaster response requirements. So after a typhoon has struck a certain area, oftentimes there could be damage, right, to existing fiber or mobile infrastructure, and may take some days before the service can actually be brought back up and connect users on the site. Now, with satellite, this is a very quick to install type of solution. In under 2 to 3 hours, you can have a VSAT pointed to our satellite, powered with a genset or 2 solar panels, and immediately provide disaster response efforts to the area. Aside from that, we also cater to tourism and events. We also have remote hotels and destinations that need internet access, which is good for local tourism. And we can now include them in the digital economy as well, using VSAT connectivity. How we're able to do this at scale is through what we have developed over the past 3 years, which is the nationwide distribution channel. The distribution channel is comprised of 150 different distributors. These are locally embedded installers. They're based off the islands itself, whether it's Batanes, you're talking about the Cordilleras region, Samar, Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, Cotabato. They are locally present to be able to provide and serve the requirements of local customers in the region. What we've also done to bring down the cost to serve these customers in remote areas is to also have regional warehouses. We have deployed warehouses in Manila, in Cebu, Davao, as well as in Puerto Princesa in Palawan, to make it accessible for our distributors and our customers to get access to our equipment and basically install that in the remote sites. So these distributors will be happy to also provide after-sales support in case there's any issues with the devices that are deployed. These can be rapidly sent. They can be sent to the location itself and actually do the maintenance and after-sales. Just to share with you some of the existing customers that we have in our base, Nickel Asia Corporation in Surigao del Sur is actually connected to the VSAT. They're basically using it for their Zoom, for teleconferencing on Teams, and it allows them to have access to the internet for downloading of files or sharing of files with other sites. In addition, Century Peak, located in Dinagat Island, a beautiful island off the coast of Surigao del Norte, is also connected to the VSAT. And because power is one of the concerns there, what they've done is they've installed solar panels to make sure that these sites are up and running. And with solar, these VSATs can be connected for 3 to 7 days. Another example would be Tequiron Resources. This is off the coast of Eastern Samar. Again, we have coverage across all of these different locations, and we also have distributors who can help support. So basically what they do is they use the internet access as well to provide surveillance capability to the site, and they can also use the internet to apply other types of Internet of Things, applications such as Internet of Things, to connect sensors and remote devices to capture data on premise. I'd like to share a short video as well for the next 2 to 3 minutes of another customer that was connected by our partner located in Cotabato. This is Dole Philippines. Please enjoy and see how they are currently using the connectivity for their plantation.
Kacific, the heart of broadband.
My name is Eugene Alfante, the manager for Dole Digital Technology, Infrastructure, Security, and IT Operations. Before I joined Dole, this particular site, Alkikan, is totally offline. Our admin personnel and encoders had to travel to our Polomolok office just to encode data and upload it on our system. And due to these predicaments, data capturing and uploading is always delayed for financial and data warehouse management, which is needed by the business for analysis This is a big challenge for us in IT in implementing SAP applications and digital initiatives such as field data gathering, time and attendance, warehouse management inventory for agricultural materials movement, like for planting materials, fertilizers, and other agri materials. Right now, since the office is currently online, they can do a lot of things. They can now encode on a daily basis and even join meetings, read emails, and provide updated data to the HR, finance, and warehouse management. It's a really big help for the company in managing all the infrastructure and the data gathering all across this site. So right now, we are using their technology for almost like 7 months already, and we still have no problem encountered during the entire duration of the process. My message to SATNet powered by Kacific Internet is that continue what they started, especially in the geographic location of the country, which is very challenging. They can really offer a big help to those far-flung areas, especially in our digital age where connectivity is really the main drivers for innovations, technological advancement.
So that's a great example of how one of the customers of LTSI is able to connect to the internet using satellite technology. Essentially, there's a lot of different things that you can do on satellite. And a few of the different services that can be explored or looked into would be what you call dedicated services. Under what we call the Flex VNO, this is short of saying Flexible Virtual Network Operator, basically you will have access to your own capacity. And a lot of the times you need this to be able to design layer 2 and layer 3 applications to be able to integrate your network into a private network as well. And this allows you to then interconnect that with MPLS, SD1 type of services so that you can have a very controlled network for your mining operations and mining sites. With Flex VNO, basically you can design your own plan, you can design your own speeds, and basically allocate that to different sites across the region. And you can manage all of these fleets using a platform that is designed and provided by Kacific. So this is a great solution if you're looking for something with flexibility, something that allows you to offer SLA and a committed information rate or committed speeds that you need to deploy in the region. Aside from the Flex VNO services, we also offer additional services on top of the internet, which would be CCTV and data remote collection. So a lot of these remote sites may require security, and what you can do is integrate that with our CCTV camera system. We have partnered with Arlo, and Arlo provides industrial grade equipment that you can easily deploy in any different type of infrastructure, right, or building, and it will be connected to a central monitoring tool that you can use over satellite connectivity. Aside from that, as mentioned earlier, you can also apply Internet of Things, right? And Internet of Things is basically capturing data using small devices over the satellite internet. So this is especially good for areas that you need to collect data for humidity, for soil moisture, temperature, or even object tracking. For example, if you want to know if there's if in the perimeter, right, there's something that's moving, these types of applications can be done over Internet of Things, and it's connected to your central office via satellite internet as well. We also offer disaster response solutions. The Kacific Comms box is what we've designed to basically address emergency situations. This is a auto-pointing 0.55 meter antenna that is enclosed in a steel and waterproof casing. It can be easily deployed. It has wheels, and you can transport it to areas that are affected by, for example, bad weather, or if you need to deploy this in emergency situations. The comms box comes already with its own power source. It also has a built-in solar panel, as well as a Wi-Fi access point that you can use to connect your mobile phone or your laptop to. And you'll be able to access speeds of up to 50 Mbps on download and up to 15 Mbps on upload. So this is a great solution, especially if you're talking about emergency connectivity in some of the remote sites. So I would like to conclude and end the presentation by inviting everyone, again, to do check out our booth outside with Limitless Tech Solutions. We'd be happy to discuss any requirements that you may have, particularly on your mining requirements, especially if you have other internet requirements that are, I guess you need internet for areas that are not connected to fiber or mobile. Otherwise, we can also look at satellite as a redundancy connectivity or a backup service for you. And again, we do also have a live demo showcase located at the roof deck of Tower 1. Please approach me or any of our team, and we'd be happy to escort you so you can have a try as well and experience satellite internet for yourself. With that, I'd like to thank everyone again. I hope you have a great afternoon ahead, and please enjoy your lunch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gino, for your presentation. Now, it is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce our keynote speaker. Roy Deveraturda is a retired Lieutenant General in the Armed Forces of the Philippines and is currently the President and CEO of Sagittarius Mines, the FTAA holder of the Tampakan Copper Gold Project, one of the largest undeveloped copper gold deposits in the world. He has had 36 years of experience in leadership, management, planning, and disaster response in the military and defense sector, and 5 years of mining leadership and management experience, starting as President and CEO of Carmen Copper Corporation. I'm sure we're all looking forward to hearing what he has to say about the Tampakan project, especially since there have been very positive developments which have been reported in the news. With our distinguished speaker at the helm, and with the potential of this project to be a game changer, not just for Mindanao but the whole country, we have very exciting times ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, to speak on the topic, Mining, Our Shared Responsibility Towards Our Nation's Growth, please let us all give a very warm welcome to the President and CEO of Sagittarius Mines, Lieutenant General Roy O. Deveraturda.
Thank you, Tricia, for that very kind introduction. And a pleasant day to all of you. Good afternoon. And thank you for inviting me on this momentous occasion of the 74th Philippine Mining Club Luncheon. And I have to admit that delivering a keynote address to an audience who I know is smarter than me, not only in mining but in other technical knowledge, is really very humbling experience. So I'm honored and humbled by this invitation. I couldn't help but feel the overwhelming sense of gratitude, of course, and thank you for the great welcome. But before I proceed, let me recognize some of the distinguished guests here. Former Prime Minister Cesar Birata, sir. One of the best minds in not only in economics and leadership, but also in rule of law politics. Ambassador Delia Arbert, the Australian ambassador when I was doing my master's in Australia. Good to see you again. And of course, Joey Eisen here, the president of PIMEA. And I'd like also to recognize other distinguished guests and friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon again. So this afternoon, it will be very challenging because my speech teacher told me that the greatest challenge is speaking to an audience who just finished taking their meal or the lunch. So this afternoon, I'm going to tell you about what's going on with the project, a lively discourse on the factors affecting the project, and of course, an admonition or a discourse on improving our way ahead in the mining industry. As you all know, today I'm involved in Tampakan project, and many of you know that this project is located in southern Mindanao, and it's one of the largest undeveloped copper deposit in the world. I believe in terms of volume, this is the 5th largest, But in terms of if you're going to factor the qualities, including the cost of operations and capex involved, this could rise to the top 3. So this is under the FTAA, as mentioned a while back, and to be operated by the Sagittarius Mines Incorporated. The project of this size, for all you know, has the potential to be a key driver in economic prosperity and industrial growth and social development, not only in the host and neighboring communities, but more so for the entire island of Mindanao and the country as a whole. It would create thousands of jobs, build roads and other life-sustaining infrastructures. It will also bring basic utilities like clean water and low cost of electricity to the communities. It could provide solutions to poverty, ignorance, hunger, and disease. Now you may ask, how? The reason, of course, is SMI is committed to responsible and sustainable development with environmental, social, governance, or ESG as the core of managing and operating this project. In addition, all of this had an assurance of full commitment to the obligations and taxes, all obligations for that matter, solving social problems and implementing world-class standards in operations. We strongly believe that through this project we can reaffirm, I'd like to emphasize this, we can reaffirm to the entire world that mineral development and responsible mining do exist in the country. The project is a national priority considering that the mining industry is acknowledged by the government economic team as an indispensable contributor to the Philippine economic growth, with the greatest potential to be the key driver in economic recovery and the long-term growth. Recent events, and most probably you're reading in the paper recently, that practically we had reduced to almost zero any regulatory concerns for this project. This situation hopefully provides for the operating stability and certainty as we move forward into the future. Moreover, the community development initiatives to date has resulted to strong acceptance and support from all the municipalities in the province of South Cotabato. The project, by the way, has a life of mine of 40 plus years. And if you're going to consider the future exploration, and if copper is still being, good in the market, then it could reach up to, I believe, 50 plus years or even 60 years, just like what happened to Atlas Mining in operating the Toledo mining project, now Carmen Copper Corporation. Okay, well, the narrative appears very, very neat. There is a tremendous history in the project, and I would always argue and believe that many of you knows what transpired in the past 25 years or so. Of course, there will always be new challenges and new reality. Because delivering a project like this, like the magnitude of the Tampakan Copper Gold project, is not easy, admittedly. Nor this is something that can be addressed by the company alone. True, we have a plan that would put a semblance of, let's say, control for the project way ahead. It consists of comprehensive workflow, complete permittings, compliances, detailed program of activities, and of course, the most important thing, approved budgets or approved capital. But in our experience, when the moment we have been prepared for arrive, we were shocked. We were shocked that what we have prepared for became useless. But that was before. I'd like to assure you that today, with the positive changes emerging, a new dawn of hope is on the horizon. I'd like to assure you that. Today, the government wants the mining industry to substantially contribute to economic growth. Today, I am optimistic that this development could provide better arrangements in our collective undertakings. Collective undertakings, because I'd like to emphasize here that the mining industry is not the mining company alone, but all of us. All the subsectors that are connected or supplying mining companies is, in my view, the mining industry. Okay, let us review further how blessed we are as a country. We have 9 million hectares of highly mineralized area. That's close to 30% of the total land area of the Philippines. And by the way, this does not include yet the unexplored seabed of our exclusive economic zone. So with 30 million hectares, and you have almost 10 million hectares mineralized, look at the potential. We have, in fact, all the required minerals that is needed by an industrialized economy. However, according to the latest data released, only 762,000 hectares of this, or roughly 2.5% of our land area, is now covered by agreements. You can check that with Joey. Out of this, the active mines account for only 137,000 hectares, or 0.45% of the Philippines' total land area. I'm not saying that we have to disturb the close to 10 million hectares of land, but I'm stressing here is the potential of this country for really joining, let's say, the top 20 or top 10 in the world economy through mining industry. I believe we only have 2,700 hectares, or 0.01 of total land area, disturbed in the mining in the mining operations, and that's practically a drop in the bucket. Why do I have to tell you this? Later on, as I continue in my discourse, I'll tell you why. Another thing, bear in mind that this country is considered, or not, if not yet proven, considered as the 5th largest mineral deposits in the world. And we have, as the pessimistic estimate, a total of more than $1 trillion in untapped reserve. But you know, unlike the United States or Australia, China, Russia, Chile, or you can include our neighbor in ASEAN, Indonesia, and other countries occupying the top 15 in the list, or top 20 in the list. We are currently at the bottom. The reason, of course, is they did their job. Okay, while we are at the bottom of the list in terms of mineral production, I would like to enjoin everybody to join hands, and let's pledge that it's now time for us to do also our job. To do our job as well as our neighbor Indonesia and the top 5 in the world, and play catch up. We can do that. Now, as I continue, the question is, what now mining industry in the country? Whenever we talk of mining, we will never run out of unsavory attributions to the industry. Mining is a dirty and dangerous word. Believe you me, It is grossly irresponsible if you're going to ask, get a survey. It is run by greedy capitalists. It will destroy the country. Interestingly, even if you are regulatory compliant, does not exempt any mining company from criticism. That the environmental devastation in our country is caused by mining operations. So, invoking even the moral theories of utilitarianism and the categorical imperative. You know what I mean by these two moral theories. To determine what is right and what is wrong, to guide how people and institutions must behave, will amount to nothing. Thus, the slogan, the greatest good for the greatest number, sounds hollow. And in the same manner, even invoking constitutional rights and provisions of the law as non-debatable moral ends in trying to defend mining, based on my experience, will never suffice. Mining data will tell us that decades ago, the mining industry has been a major contributor to the Philippine economy. In the 80s, or maybe 70s, mining contribution to the country's exports was more than 20%. Since then, the real output took a steady decline. And for your information, the latest report says that we are just contributing less than 1% in our GDP. Less than 1% in our GDP for a country which has been proven to contain in its land the fifth largest mineral deposit in the world, excluding the exclusive economic zone yet. So, perhaps, again, I'd like to say here that in a nutshell, mining experienced top luck for that same period, kick in the teeth, and of course a lot of thumbs down during the same period. Nevertheless, and I'd like to give you hope here, and I'd like to sell bottled sunshine, with the current clear government support, together with the firm recognition on the importance of the industry, resurgence to the level higher than what we have before may not be far behind. We all agree that mining industry is essential in our country's economic well-being. Now, of course, for it to contribute well to the wealth of the nation or for wealth creation, the potential of resources I mentioned a while ago, the resources under development, must be nudged and come into fruition by existing government policies, while at the same time allow the private sector to do its role. The role of playing within the continuum of regulating and facilitating and allow the private sector to create the wealth for everybody. In my observation also, when we are discussing mining and faced with consequential decisions, scientific data, scientific and data-aided decision-making flies out of the window. What do I mean by this? Instead, we are, sad to say, bogged down by polarizing disagreements, usually arguments that are shaped around two organizing thoughts. Woe on me and shame on you. This is similar to I am a victim and you are the victimizer. You, the mining industry, the victimizer, and I am a victim here. The more I project I am victimized, the more shame I can impute to the victimizer. I'm talking of this because of empirical data that I have gathered and based on personal experience. And the more, if I am against mining, the more I will be honored, the more that I should shame you. In order to be honored, someone else has to be shamed. And you know, exaggeration here is the key. Do you agree with me? Have you experienced that as well? Or have you read that also? So, ladies and gentlemen, please, we need to change this type of conversation about mining. And I believe you and I can do a lot of things towards achieving that end. Okay, furthermore, psychologists assert that our brains designed to persuade rather than to search for truth. Accordingly, the principle is appearance can be easier to manage than reality. We pretend, and we pretend to be right, and we go that way. But the outcome of continuing on with divisive line of reasoning will miss the core issues. That mining is essential to our everyday lives, not only in the country, but for the world. I'd like to repeat that mining is essential to our everyday lives, not only for our country, the Philippines, but for the world. What's happening here is just like a donut. Everything is in the peripheral, nothing at the center. I would always agree with the discourse that cultivating statistics thinking, and help me on this. Cultivating statistics thinking and scientific thinking. So statistics together with scientific thinking as important tools in the real world problem solving. It will go a long way. And listen to this. My personal view is I would always argue that crafting more laws, more regulations, more bureaucracy, more agreements, more money to arrive at the real truth are all counterproductive. Let us all do statistics, and maybe that would aid in risk literacy and prevent people from being manipulated into experiencing unwarranted, damaging, and baseless opinions and beliefs. I encourage mining IEC therefore that the IEC must be adept in exposing the gaps between appearance and reality. Undoubtedly, empirical data evidences will prove that aside from the positive economic and social inputs, we need mining as an integral part of life. Anybody's cell phone here? I would bet everybody has. Your cell phones, according to experts, contain materials that could punch holes on 2/3 of the periodic table. Is that true? You can make a research on that. And I'd like to emphasize here common knowledge. You know this, you and I know this, that mined materials are used and needed to sustain our way of life. Mined materials are used to construct modern roads, bridges, residential and commercial buildings, to build hospitals, and provide diagnostic tools, produce automobiles, ships, airplanes, to generate and distribute electricity, and provide many more goods and services. The list is endless. The list is endless. More importantly, in our drive to achieve zero emission, this is the latest, we need responsible mining to save the earth. And For that matter, I will always argue that we are, and I personally, is in mining because I love the environment. We are in mining because we love the environment. The demand for the mineral-based product will intensify, that's for sure. For a greener earth, more mining is needed rather than less. The admonition, if it hadn't been grown, then it's been mined, is truer today than yesterday. With that, let me go back a little bit to the Tampakan project. The project, for your information, is now in early access development stage. That will soon usher full construction of roads, port facilities, power substations, processing facilities, among other things. You and I will agree that this unique asset will be developed for the shared prosperity, not only of the host communities in the area, but for the entire country, and I tell you, even the world. We are using modern mining technologies, not only to address some frequently attacked mining practices in the past, but also to ensure environmental protection and sustainability. Our environmental management approach centers on preserving and restoring the natural environment throughout the life cycle of these mining operations. Let me reiterate the fact that we will supply critical materials for achieving the goals of green economy. We will substantially contribute to this goal. We will endeavor to be the spearhead in our collective dream of reviving the Philippine mining industry. I'd like to emphasize that. We are down today, but don't count us out. We will be the spearhead of that effort. Again, I'd like to reiterate again and again here that our daily task will be based on the highest standards and best practices of responsible mining for technical, environmental, social, and good governance. We will not only create value for the communities, for the nation, but for the entire earth. And we will contribute to create principled, I'd like to emphasize that, and prosperous society. Allow me now to speak my closing argument by way of relating a story. Because I'd like to make this talk not only intended for those people who really love mining or involved in mining activities, but for all walks of life, especially in our community. My closing argument by way of relating to you a story is something like this. I have a friend who became a mayor of a once backward and sleepy town in our province. If you want to know the province and where is that sleepy town, please call me and let's have coffee in Starbucks and I'll relate to you the entire story. So we know each other since childhood days, and in his 3 terms, or nearly 10 years in office, he transformed the town of his birth into a very progressive place, economically, culturally, and socially. So I asked him about his secret. He summed it up with something like politics of good governance under the rule of law. Politics of good governance under the rule of law. I said, you know, I'd like to understand more of that. It sounds too vague to me. It sounds alien to me. And he stressed that political leadership is a summon to service. Well, I understand that. It is hard, according to my friend, but really very rewarding for as long as it does not exist. It does not exist to prop up a rent-seeking coalition, meaning acquiring power as an end in itself, but using power bestowed by the people to achieve the end. like solving problems in your community and enabling value creation. The sonum bonum, the highest good as the ultimate end to which values and priorities are established in a system. He added that leadership is norm forming. Everything leaders do becomes the standard of conduct and way of doing things. Do you agree? I agree. To emphasize, my former mayor friend cited an example in business permitting. He pointed out that coming to a business permit section of their community is not about collecting fees and money. It's not about collecting fees and money or treating existing businesses as cash cow. My friend's really brilliant. My friend clearly pointed out that activities in that town's office is about progress. So all activities in the business permitting section is about progress. It is about fairness. And on extremely rare occasion, it is about mercy and good neighbor policy. We are progressing, according to him, because over the years, we have devised the town institutions, the municipal institution, and institutions to enable the people to improve their conditions in life. My friend stressed that his definition of institution is very traditional and contained in a dictionary, which says institution is an established law, custom, usage, practice, organization, or other elements in the social, political, and economic life of the people. To clarify, he further said, every transaction, every exercise of authority, every action of me as a leader of that small town is giving meaning on how it is to live in a community with your fellow human beings. It is to live in a community with your fellow human beings. So therefore, he added, it is a journey with somebody. It is a journey with all the people here. If it is now the nation, it is a journey with all of you. He passionately emphasized that we give each other a sense of hope, a purpose in life, rather than clawing and tearing at each other for anything there is to have in a politics of corruption and decay. We push each other up. He added again, he emphasized that. We cooperate to raise our town to a level where it has not yet been there before. Achievement is entirely based on cooperation. That cooperation is anchored on trust in progressive institutions. Success, therefore, is based on cooperation. That is why his system, he called it, my system is all about, in today's language, quote unquote, it is simple and user-friendly. Just like your cell phone, it can be operated by your 5-year-old son or daughter. Hearing that, my argument is, well, thank you for that. I would always take the view that Adam Smith, and perhaps even if you know Yuval Harari, understood exactly well what my friend was saying. That collective intelligence or division of labor is not the key here. Those are not the key to human achievement. It is not individual genius at all. So what is it therefore? This is doing well our role or the role that we should play in a society. If I am a minor, I should do it in the most responsible manner. If you are the one in charge of supervising me and compliance, it should be based on that. If you are supplying the needs of the mining company, it should be based on a real, gesture of the best product that you can offer the mining company so that they could also achieve the best output in the mining company. I'd like to again emphasize here that the mining industry is not the mining company. We are the mining industry. Okay, let me continue. So, hearing Adam Smith, Yuval Harari get their books in a Fully Book or National Bookstore, they understood exactly well what my friend was saying. So, this is about doing well, the role we play in a society in a nutshell. A role directed to us and aimed for the common hopes and aspirations of everybody, not only for ourselves. This is the same with enhancing human, material, scientific, technological capital for a particular nation. And we're not lacking in that. The country is not lacking in these things. I will always argue that if we do our things right, we can budge easily into the top 20 in terms of economic achievement, top 20 countries in the world. There was a survey recently published that we will join the top 15 in 2075. Why wait that long? While we can join them maybe in 5 or 10 years or so. So this is the same with enhancing human, material, scientific, technological capital for a particular nation. The reason some societies work better and achieve unprecedented progress that others is not because they have a smarter population. It is about cooperation. Cooperation under a leadership that follows the rule of law and subject to democratic accountability. So, let me end now by saying, you didn't come here, I am sure of that. You didn't come here just to listen to me. That's the truth. You came here because, I would assume, you believe in what the mining industry can do not only for ourselves, but for our communities, to our country, and to the world. Let us remember this day as a marker on how far we have traveled already since that decade in the 80s that I mentioned a while ago. And therefore, let us not turn back anymore as we dream and hope together for a better Philippines, for us and for our children, and all the other foreigners who would like to join us here in this beautiful place in the world. Let us work for that. With this, I am reminded of a quote from our national hero, Jose Rizal. For those who didn't know who Jose Rizal is, go to the bookstore and ask the sales representative to give you a book about him. He said, "It is a useless life that is not consecrated to a great ideal. It is like a stone wasted on the field without becoming a part of any edifice." So, let us go beyond networking. This is my message to all of you. Let us work together instead to ensure that our lives and the mining industry will become a part of our country's edifice or contribute to the world's edifice. So, take care, everybody. Thank you. God bless, and God bless the Philippine Mining Club, the mining industry. God bless the Philippines. Thank you.
Before I open the floor to questions from the audience, I have a few of my own for General Deveraturda. And thank you, sir, for emphasizing our shared responsibility for the mining industry. That it's not just up to the companies, but each one of us has a role to play in promoting it and ensuring it succeeds. One other issue that you mentioned relates to the relationship between mining and a sustainable future. I think your words were mining is necessary to save the world. So, tying all of these things, sir, together, because I think the mining industry has suffered in terms of communication. What, as a practical matter, how could we in the audience work together to emphasize really how critical mining is for our future?
Okay, thank you very much, Attorney Tricia. And before I answer that question, I'd like to again thank everybody for inviting me here. And I'd like to announce that all the easy questions I will answer. All the hard questions, I'll give it to some of the people here. So what the mining industry can do for the future, that's, I believe, an easy question, so I can answer that. Okay, we all know that in many forums and many presentations and most probably theses on the use of minerals and other elements in the that we can find in this earth we call home will be needed in terms of trying to reduce the carbon footprint or what we call the increasing, in the layman's term, temperature of the earth, and that could be disastrous for everyone. So when we talk of technologies, green technologies, green economies, the argument is, and I believe that's proven, we need more materials because we're going to put these materials in trying to come up with the machines, the way of generating new electricity, your cars, your homes, etc., in a manner that we will reduce to zero the emissions that we're experiencing right now. Because continuing so can really be harmful, proven scientifically, can really be harmful to the earth and its inhabitants. So responsible mining, how to do it? Do we have the resource based on the survey and other computations? The answer is yes. And again, the issue here is how do we now do this in a very responsible manner and not anymore contributing to harm our environment on the earth. And of course, later on, hopefully, God permits that we find something that we will no longer dig into the earth that can sustain our way of life and the modern economy and the modern way of living.
Thank you, sir. Picking up on the themes of communication and technology, I think Kacific Broadband has a role to play in this as well. How could you aid the mining companies, Mr. Simbulan?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So, for Kacific, together with our local partners, SatNet, so we provide quality and high-speed satellite broadband in the country. So, in the most recent months, so we saw some devastated typhoon in the Visayas region. So, we have one client there. It's a mining company. We provide customized solution for them because we acknowledge that in the mining it's not like you just need an internet. Some of you need some system configuration like MPLS to run your own system. So Kacific provide a variety of solution for the mining, especially to provide reliable connectivity, especially in times of disaster or in times of very difficult areas to penetrate with the telcos. And we provide the latest technology for the mining, which is Ka band under the high throughput satellite payload. And also, we commit an SLA for the mining industry at 99.7% SLA. So by doing that, we provide 2 teleports here in the Philippines. Our first teleport is in Subic, and our second teleport is in Clark, Pampanga, to provide resiliency connectivity in times when our primary teleports went down. So all the traffic will be diverted to Clark, so that all the mining sites will have their decent connectivity via satellite, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much. General, earlier you talked about hurdling all these regulatory requirements, and it has taken many, many years to do that. I'm just curious, given your distinguished career in the military, how have your experiences there been applied in your work now in the mining industry?
Yeah, I'd like to admit that when I was assigned or designated as president and CEO of Carbon Copper Corporation, I always admit that I'm the most unlikely choice. So I have to really go into a crash course on what mining is all about and self-taught. Now, I'd like to answer the question by what's the question again?
How have you applied your experiences in the military to the world of mining?
I don't want to answer that because I might not be too objective about my answer. And in fact, I'd just like you to make a research on about my personality. But it helped a lot because in the military, you know, you're trained to be a leader. You're trained to solve problems. You're trained not to complain. You're trained not to adapt to all situations, whether it's the most meager thing and the most luxurious thing will be treated just the same. You can sleep in the gutter and you can sleep in a 5-star hotel. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference. So I believe it helped a lot. But the thing that really made me love mining is that. By the way, I was when I started in 2016 in the private sector, I got a pleasant surprise to be assigned in Cebu, in Toledo mining operations there. My role is to help the company pass the exacting audit of the then secretary. And of course, the issues that will be my concern are the following: social, environmental, safety, communication, and other things that will be messaged to me by the head office to work on. And one thing led to another, and I was appointed as the president and CEO. But I never expected that. I did not even aspire for that. So when I was there, many people would tell me that you will not survive your assignment or your job there. Why did you accept that? I kept silent. I did not answer that question. And after a week or so in the Toledo, in Carbon Copper, I told them that, hey, I love it here. And most probably, this is a love at first sight. I love mining from 30,000 feet up in the air. My pit is not planted securely on the ground. And this is a calling about, of course, technology, about the communities, about the people who really, I consider like the man in the arena or the men and women in the arena. And I share their dreams, their aspirations, and how mining contributes to the entire world, not only for the community, but the entire world, not only the local community. So that inspired me, and one thing led to another, and yeah, that's long story short. I was here now in front of you and delivering a discourse on something that really a universe apart in 2016. So thank you to all of you and all the people in the mining industry for helping me know about this topic and helping me achieve my self-taught goal of learning about mining industry.
Thank you, sir. I have a whole list of questions here, but we'd like to hear from you in the audience as well. Any questions, please, from the audience?
I'm Tata from the Australian Embassy Trade Section. Sir, before I say my question, I'd like to say that I knew SMI or Tampakan to the diorama that Roy Antonio has been sharing to schools, to other NGOs. So, and that was what, over 10 years ago. so much patience there for Roy. How much patience would Secretarius Mine have more in these coming years now that you are in the early access development stage? That's one. I mean, how much budget have you had in the span of 10 years for your communication? I think you've done a lot, but how much more? My second question is, you gave an update on the project. You said that you're in an early access development stage, and you'll be in the construction anytime soon. When I knew Tampakan, right at the time, the EPC was Osenco. So one, I want to know who is the EPC, if that can be divulged. And second, if these suppliers here would like to introduce their services, Australian companies would like to introduce their technology, who should we run to for this purpose?
Okay, so the first one is, of course, how much more patience do we have? Patience is a virtue. We have been it for so long, and I believe we just have to maintain the spirit, and we are about to begin now, and that should be not only for the company, but most probably for anybody who is challenged here with something that's seemingly impossible to be achieved. And diamond is an ordinary coal, so they say that has been subjected under pressure. Most probably, we have been subjected to that pressure already, that we can operate that thing very well. So second is, we will try to get in touch with you, give you the number. We'll keep the door open. We know, I have told you while I was at the podium that we cannot do this alone. And no human achievement has been perfected nor considered magnificent, created only by a single person. Even the artists who have painted the ceilings or the walls there, they started somewhere and on a tutelage or under the stewardship or coaching of somebody else. So we cannot do this alone. We need all of you. And of course, I'll give you and those interested the contact person of our company who could arrange for anything that you'd like to know, you'd like to present. What I cannot promise yet is that if you present something that you'd like us to buy and buy it right away, no, maybe we're not yet in that stage, but soon, if it's really necessity, why not? We'll give you the number and the contact number and the person. Okay?
Yes. Sir, you mentioned earlier you can't do it alone. And among your staunchest supporters in your project area have been the indigenous peoples, particularly the women chieftains. And we all know that the social license to operate is one of the most important ingredients in any project. Perhaps you would like to share how SMI has successfully engaged with the community.
Yes, and I'd like to tell you that if there's any group in the country who would like this project to really start operating, it's them, the indigenous people. So, well, of course, we go by the rule of law. We check what are the required things that we must accomplish so that we protect also the rights of these people under ancestral domain concept. And they were the one really prodding us to start. That's very surprising. And those opposing the project, if I may share to you, are those people really far, far away from the project site. And you can ask them, you can interview them. I'm not, no kidding, I'm not telling a lie. And I believe that's why in my talk I told you that this project can cure poverty, ignorance, disease, hunger. I'm preparing not to a lot of people there, but definitely there are still people that will fall under those things that we have to solve. And I believe, human being as we are, and we would like to have that thing accomplished, we have to take note of how to solve the social problems affecting them. So we got the social permits a long, long time ago, and that's verifiable. And yeah, we really would like to start operating because I'm telling everybody, I'm telling everyone that most probably after 15, if the life of mine is 40 plus years, and if we can dig again another deposit, we'll go for 60 years as long as we still need the materials being mined. I am arguing and telling them that my dream is to have somebody from the IPs running the show or being the president and CEO of the company after 15 or 20 years. And that's not an impossible dream. And we will attempt to do that. Leave it to them and give the running of the day-to-day activities and the planning for the strategic objectives of the company as it moves forward to the people now considered as the direct beneficiary of this resource. Of course, the resource is for everyone, for the country and for the world.
Thank you, sir. Are there any more questions from the audience? Yes, sir. Please state your name and your affiliation.
Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon po.
General, magandang hapon po. Roland Nilias from Gigantes Corporation. Yesterday's newspaper reported that you are undertaking site development towards the end of the year, this year, at Tampakan. I'm sure everybody agrees with me that we're here to report to our boss and our shareholders. What can we tell a boss about the Sagittarius mines? And we would like to know if you can give us a little more specific on timelines of the mines.
Okay, Ron, thank you very much for that. We will come up with that soon, and if ever that's already releasable, then don't worry, you'll be the first person to be notified.
Thank you.
I've known you for a long, long time, and we've been together for quite a while, so don't worry, I'll give you that.
Thank you, General.
Well, General, along the lines of his question on timelines, we all know how copper is important. As they say, you would need it for most things. You said earlier that it is a critical mineral and it is our bridge to the energy transition. And even Secretary Loizaga has been mentioning this in her speeches. Would you like to?
Yeah, that's true. And of course, there are a lot of arguments and other discourse that will tell you that in as much as we are having a scarcity of the copper and other, of course, minerals required for a green economy, we might have to resort to availing of some other materials. But you know, the efficiency of copper compared to, let's say, aluminum and other things are really far different. Copper is better. So the issue here is we are not mining because we would like to supply all the required materials in the world, but we are mining for the greener earth to supply what is really required, and at the same time trying to come up with the efficiency that would really make us use this material and not waste it in terms of providing for the green technology. So essentially what I'm saying is, while we still have the resource, we might be getting a little bit low supply because of what's going on, but we have an alternative thing. But the bottom line here is we cannot escape the greener earth without copper and other essential metals for the greener earth.
Thank you. Well, I have one for you, Mr. Simbulan. We all know that the Philippines is subject to very harsh weather conditions sometimes, like just now we've had continuous rain. So how would you address this in the systems that you are installing throughout the Philippines?
Yeah, thank you for that question, ma'am. So currently, the satellite technology is evolving very fast. As we can see, Kacific 1 satellite is using the latest technology under the HTS and under the KA band. So most of the mining companies sometimes they use the traditional satellite under KU band, under the fixed satellite service. Now with the HTS, we offer spot beam all over the Philippines. We have 6 spot beam to cover the whole archipelago of the Philippines, especially the water. So just for example, in Palawan, there is a mining company in Palawan that for the last 5 years, they don't have really a decent connectivity. They rely on the P2P or other microwave internet signal. But when they learn about Kacific, they avail our service, and also the offshore Malampaya, the Malampaya in Palawan, they are using also our satellite. So they experience a throughput of 100 Mbps, and also the most question asked to us is the latency. So if you use KE band nowadays, latency has been addressed, especially in Zoom call, in Teams call, and other application, because we enhance the technology through our teleport in Subic and Clark. So now they enjoy real-time face-to-face video conferencing meeting without going to a mainland to have to avail a internet service in the mainland, but they have their internet service on site. So those are the things, and also we have multiple touch point for us to support the mining clients of ours to LTS, to our SATNet. We have around 150 distributor right now in the Philippines to be able to support all the off-site location of the mining, to be able for us to respond faster comparing to others that they need to send people from Manila to respond in a certain area like in Palawan or in other area. For us, we can respond as early as 24 hours. Our technician will be there. And also, one of the things that our satellite have a great advantage is we have multiple teleports, not only in the Philippines and also outside the Philippines.
Thank you very much. General, I'd like to return to something you said earlier about having to change the conversation on mining. Because of course the audience here does not need convincing, but we have a larger world to convince. And I'd like to relate it to the gentleman's question earlier about what to tell their colleagues. So your thoughts on this, sir, please.
Yeah, and I would, if I'm going to have an advocacy, maybe even posing a question of okay, we agree, everybody agrees in the world, the entire world, tomorrow let's stop mining. What will happen to us? Well, perhaps slowly we will not have the air-conditioned room like this. We can't drive our cars and buses and airplanes anymore. So what disruption are we expecting? And from the disruption, what catastrophe or disaster that will ensue? Most probably, if we'd like to try to imagine on those extreme ends, what will happen if everybody decides that we stop tomorrow and we don't have a solution to the consequences of stopping. So from there, maybe we start developing the issue of course, we're always saying we're doing it responsibly. It behooves on us as operator to do it really that way. And like what I've mentioned in my talk, the most important thing here is let's not discuss it from the two organizing thoughts of woe on me, shame on you. Meaning, I am a victim, and you, mining industry, is the victimizer. It's easy to compose arguments based on those very divisive lines. And sometimes, we, human beings as we are, normally irrational, primitive, occasionally decent, oftentimes repulsive, will fall under that argument. But we know that human being as we are also far, far away from that description. The reason, of course, is we can direct our thoughts, we can direct our mind, and we can reason. And the reason can be examined scientifically, logically, and perhaps if we cannot do that, look for further evidences on what we are saying. So I believe if everybody here will just do his share of telling the world, especially those really clamoring and arguing from the point of view of being a victim or somebody affected by a phenomenon or an activity or a reason that can be blamed based on emotion, then we can have a better way of, because let's face it, let's stop tomorrow. I leave it to your imagination what will happen to the world. I'm not saying that there should be unregulated, wanton mining operations or unrestricted mining operations. In fact, it behooves on us, the one running the operations, to really go by what is required, not only in compliances, but also in our best way of really preserving the environment and the world. That's why I mentioned a while ago, we are in mining because we love the environment.
Thank you, sir. There seem to be no more. So on that note, I would like to thank very much Mr. Ferdinand Simbulan and General Roy O. Deveraturda for their time today and their insights. Please, gentlemen, remain on stage for the photos.
Thank you very much.